the last Mishnah Masechta of Mציעא says as follows: Shnei Ganais Zor Gavzut. There's two gardens, one above the other. In other words, one's land is lower and one's land is higher. Vayereg bein tayim, and there's vegetables that are growing on the slant of the elevation of the gardens. Rameya says shel elyon, that vegetable that's growing over there belongs to the top ground because it's coming from his earth. And Rabbi Yehuda shel tachta, and Rabbi Yehuda says it belongs to the one down below, because there's what we call in English airspace, and it's growing in his ear. But being that's his ear, so it belongs to him. Amr Meir said, Im Yitzah ha'elyon likach esafarei, if the top one would want to level out his ground to gain together with the lower one, so then ain't kanyarik, there wouldn't be no vegetable. So it proves that it's coming from the top. Rabbi Yehuda said, Im Yitzah tachta l'malis eskinasai, if the bottom one would want to fill in earth into his garden and bring it up to the same level as the one on top, so then again there's no air. There's nothing growing in the air. So Amar Meir said, being that each one could stop the other one from his claim to it, to change the setup. So we see where is this vegetable getting its source? Now, what does it mean where it's, so the pshat is that the vegetable grows from the earth. The vegetable doesn't grow from air. It's in the airspace, but it gets its source from the earth. So really, it belongs to the one on top. Then the Gemara says, Amar Rav Shimon says, Kol sha'elyon yochel lifsheit es yodai v'likach v'lito, the one on top, if he can bend over and catch that vegetable that's growing in the side, Hareu shaloi v'ashar shel tachtan. So Rashi learns over here that Reb Shimon really holds like Reb Meir, that we go mehechon yerek zechai, and b'meila, so the top one, if he could bend down and get it, so it should be his, because we go according to the mehechon yerek zechai, and after that, he already gives away. He's mafkid it to the tachtan that you could take it. And Rashi says because he's embarrassed to come down into the guy's field to work over there, and they're not the best of friends and everything. So it's a din of hefka that wherever he could reach, he wants for himself because they're coming from his field, and the rest he's mafkid. That's how Rashi learns it. The Ramban learns different, but we're not going to go into that. Now the Gemara over here says at the end, on Amr Reb Shimon, Kol Shel Yilocha Lifsheit, Amri Devei Reb Yanai, Ubevat Shelo Yanas. In other words, he can hang down and keep hanging down and put himself in danger. So how far does it mean that he can stretch his hand and take it? So he says, you have to be careful. Don't extend yourself too much that you could fall down and then have an injury. And then the Gemara says, Boy Ravanam, Vitaimer B'yemya, Magia l'noifai v'ei magia l'ikrai. What happens if the vegetable is growing down? So the root of the vegetable is in the ground and it's higher up, and the leaf of the vegetable is lower down. So he can only reach the top, but he can't reach the bottom. So what should be the din? or Magil Ikra Ve'im Magil Naifai, my, then we'll take it. Okay, that's not important. We'll go now. This comes the last piece of the Gemara here. Omer Ephraim, Safra Talmideh Sheresh Lakish. He was the student of Rish Lakish, Mishum Rish Lakish, Halacha Reb Shimon. That the halacha is like Reb Shimon. Which means to say, in other words, also that the halacha is like Reb Meir. Because if we're going that Reb Shimon goes b'shitas Reb Meir, so Amru Kama the Shava Malka, they told this to a Persian king. There's a question if Shava Malka really means a Persian king, or it means Shmuel, because in the Gemara it says that Shmuel had a very good relationship with the Persian king, and sometimes they called Shmuel like the king. In other words, why did they call him like the king? Because just like what the king says goes, the same thing Shmuel, the halacha is like Shmuel Bedina Mominus, and Mamela, so whatever he says goes. So they called him the king. But Pasha says that it was the king that they told us to. Omar Lahus, he said to them, Apriyam Namche Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon deserves commendation. There's another pshat, as Apriyam comes from the word Pru'uvu, and Pru'uvu multiplying. So he said, Halavai, there multiplies many of Shimon, because Reb Shimon says such a beautiful thing that he gave a bracha, Halavai, there should be a lot of Reb Shimons. Okay, so Hadanulach Abayis Laliyah, the Slikalam Masechta Mציעא. And I said over here basically what I said, that Rashi says it, and Taisus says also that that Shava Malka was a Baki B'halacha, a big Talmud Chacham. So Mele, they told it to him, but they asked a question, how come they discussed learning with him? So the Teretz Masama is, Rav Dafka that they discussed learning with him, but they discussed the difference, the way a Yiddish bezin handles a shaila and the way a civil court handles a shaila. And B'mele, when he heard how a bezin handles a shaila, he was very impressed, because it's much better than the way the bezin, the courts handle it. The interesting thing is that this same Gemara is also in Yerushalmi. The Mishnah is in Yerushalmi, the Machlekes Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda is in Yerushalmi, and what the Shema says in Yerushalmi. But in Yerushalmi, it doesn't have this line that they told it to Shava Malka, and that he was impressed with Reb Shimon. And in the Yerushalmi, when it says, what's the halacha? So the Yerushalmi state that the halacha is Yachayku. Because there's a Machlekes of Meir and Reb Yehuda, and we don't know like who's the Machlekes, who's the halacha, so therefore the din is Yachayku. So the question of Chayda is, Reish is called, what did Shava Malka see over here that impressed him so much? And Rashain is, the whole Mesechta Mציעא begins Shnayim Elzim Batalis, Zaim Kush the din is Yachayku. So it's the same thing over here also. The two people are holding onto the vegetable, and each one is claiming it's his. So the din should be Yachayku. If Shimon didn't come out with a din of Yachayku. So the Teretz L'chayda you could say is that there's a difference. In the Gemara there's an expression that's called Drora D'Mamayna. Drora D'Mamayna means if there's a suffix to bezin without the people creating the suffix. In other words, when two people, Shnai Mos Metal, two people holding onto a talis, so, and Bezin walks by and sees it, so Bezin says to himself, somebody wants to both of them. Why? Both of them? They're both holding it. But over here, even if these people weren't fighting over the vegetable, still the Bezin would walk by and see that vegetable growing that way, would have the same shaila, to who does it belong? So you can't just say Yachayku. Yachayku is an easy way out, but it's an inaccurate way out. Over here, Reb Shimon came up with an accurate way. In other words, where he said that the one that's on top is really his, but he really doesn't want all of it. Mele Baldi really doesn't want all of it, so therefore he made a pshara, where he gave part of it to the one that was on top, and he gave part of it to the one that was on the bottom, mitzad the din of hefka, that he's zaycha, that it's his. It's not that you gave me charity, but being that you're mafkir, so I'm kind of it. So therefore, the Shava Malka was very impressed with the Rabbanim, a kugarov, what you say, that not only did he paskin the Shaila, but he also warned them to be careful, because he said to Bavat Shalayanis that when you hang over to the wall, you should be careful how you hang over. Is that the rabbi's business to tell him to be careful? But he saw the difference between a tighter dikkarov, and he saw the difference between a judge and a court. So therefore, he was very impressed with it and said that Apirya Namtai with Reb Shimon. Derech Agav, someone made a scene yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if anyone spoke about it yesterday. They speak about Abayis Valiyah, the Tzalmud Tzadik's vault, so I don't have to repeat it. Huh? What? Huh? Yeah. Okay, so I don't have to repeat it. You know the story that there was a rabbi that for 30 years gave the same Shabbos HaGadol Drasha. And the people were very impressed with the Shabbos HaGadol Drasha, and they enjoyed it to see the rabbi give the Drasha. On the 31st year, the rabbi came up and said, "Ihr weißt doch, was ich gehe sagen." So everyone said, "Of course." She said, "No." He said, "Ich weiß, was ich gehe sagen, darf ich nicht sagen." See, they were very disappointed. So the next year, he went up again on the bimah, and he said, "Ihr weißt doch, was ich gehe sagen." So they made up already that the rabbi is not going to trick us this time. Everyone said no. He said, if for 30 years I'm saying the same drasha, you don't know what I'm saying, it's a waste of time to repeat it. And he walked down. No. So again, they were very disappointed. And then later, the 32nd year, he gets up on the bimah, and he said, "Ihr weißt doch, was ich gehe sagen." So they said, they made up already. One half of the shul said yes, and one half said no. Ich bezei, divas weißen sollen, ihr sagen, so divas weißen nicht, und ich habe versprochen reden. So I'm not going to say over the Tzalmud Tzadik's vote. I'll just be yaitza with the husband I gave you about why we don't say Yachleikel. Huh? Derech Agav to be yaitza another milsa de b'dichasa. There was once a Rebbe in a yeshiva that was teaching Bava Mציעא, and he says to the children, "I have a question, children." Everyone here, what's the question? He says, "I know." He says, "How many bubbas do you have?" So everyone says, 2 bubbas. She says, "So why do we have 3 bubbas in the Gemara?" So one kid raised his hand and said, "Rebbe, one is Bava Mציעא, gefunden a bubba." Had er nog gezegd bij Messier, we hadden gewoon dat omzegd bij Messier, dat gewoon de session zegt bij Messier, we zeggen minon, wij bouwen de ossie. Hadden we gezegd bij Messier, hadden we gewoon dat omzegd bij Messier, dat gewoon, wij session zegt bij Messier, we zeggen minon, wij bouwen de ossie. Hierover van vandaag hadden we heen en weer zijn, dus het hele ossie om de zijn bij ons zijn. We zeggen man wel maar bon. Kanina Bapapa, Rami Bapapa, Nachman Bapapa, Akka Bapapa, Abba Mori Bapapa, Rafan Bapapa, Rafish Bapapa, Sacha Bapapa, Adam Bapapa, Doru Bapapa. Harav Northern Layers, Davis Russell, Bafina, with previous Amka Basin Salt. The Nia Corona, and Amka Satsana, Amka Basin Salt. Corona, Yadish Mako, Bugan, Israel, Safan. I bet I'm making Mr. Sanki, Item, he leave. He is from the Kagam on the Avish, the Ashka, Pigadaki, Bumpy, Sunny, Barakata, the name of Daniel Kaka. Amen, 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 sour boy. Why the Manako, Vanaka, the Henry Besenu? She something for kind of Yeshua Besa Megas, but something for kind of Yeshua Dronas. Shana Mashkim, Mashkinum. On Mashkim, we did very tired of Mashkim with Varam Betagum. On one Megum, Hema Megum, on one Megum, Kamuska, Hena Megum, Hema Kamuska. On the Rotsum, Hem Rotsum. On the Rotsum, Khayel Mabab, Hem Rotsum, Beshachas. Shenama, Batum, Terido, Beshachas, Anshadam, Yatsim, Eva, Nieta Boch. יראות מבונח אדוי אלוהי כשם שעזרתני לסיים בספר בבא מציעא כן תעזני להשכיל מסכת ספרים אחרים ולסיימם ללמוד ולמד לשמוע ולעשות לקיים כל דברי סלמוס ועסקה באבא וזכות כל התנועים והמירואים וסמבי די חכמים יעמדו בי וזרים שלית Tamish, Ataida, Mipi, Zari, Zari, Ad Island. This is Kayan Beef, Savatacha, Tanka, Isa, the Shapacha, Tishma Alecha, Bakisaisa, Hitis, Chacham, Kivi, Yebi, Melka, Yusil, Vashais Kayam, Eidik, Yam, Biminas, Vaisla, Chabit, Anay, Zami, Yanay, Barak, Zami, Bashalan, Kadish, Kadish, Rabbanon.
Da Bikadash Mirabah. Yamad Dibra Puteva Mikma Puteva Smart Puteva Grimishka. I found Yom Khan Fight to go itself. I love Smoke Rig Roman. Made good Shabri Ku. Roman Cobra Pata Vishrata. Tushka Tabanaka Mata.